Kazi yangu ni kuchokoza na jiji, tulipewa nisifungie kwa nini?
I'm reaching out to our brothers and sisters on the African continent. You're tuning into Black Hot Radio. Feel the freshness all day, every
Kazi yangu ni kuchokoza na jiji, tulipewa nisifungie kwa nini? Terrorist nikionyesha pale IG kulipuka Hiroshima.
Unasema nini wewe?
Thika Road, this is how you know you've made it in life.
Okay.
In Thika Road, if you know, you know. Kuna barabara yenye Wakenya upitia na yenye inaenda base yenye ni mzuri.
Kwanza leo.
Kwanza
leo. Wow.
Lakini
na kamini.
Huko unachiki huko, unapata katu ni tukubwa tu tunaingia tu hivi.
Na kamini.
Na kila kadem kamevaa kamini. Alafu unajua wasichana wa Kanairo wajui ngoda ni nini waliambia. Hizo ni tabia za wazee. Ati? Za vienyeji bana. Dema akisema kienyeji ni nani? Dema anaishi Kayole.
Pangani.
Analipia chali yake rent. Pakangi makeup. Yeah. Adu kienyeji.
Sasa wewe unaipanda, mimi siwezi, mimi napanda Uber.
Anasema kienyeji ni mtu upanda matatu. From that description, are you a kienyeji?
Kuna fake standards for days.
Ama wewe ni city girl. City girl.
Come, that's how we're starting the show. Madam wako na fake standards for days. Like fake standards.
Talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it, but literally women have zero fake standards. It's just the fact.
I have a saying. Nachikikiwa na tao. Hiyo ndio pesa yako yote ya a good time. Kuna msichana atafiti hiyo bill. Point is, huyo ndio unataka. So, fika bei wakamna kaamini.
Acha nikwambie kwa nini mademo kuna zero standards. Mademo kuna zero standards until like she shows you how much she loves you, she cares for you and all that, until she's like settled, you know. And then you don't see the standards she had before a year box. That's one. Second, my quote that I discovered. It's somewhat disgusting knowing people too deep. Too disgusting. It's not like you hate them.
But let me ask this. Isn't that the point?
There is knowing people and adoring them, liking what they do, falling in love with what they do, and there's knowing people to the fake standards.
So what I'm saying
and
is
it makes you disgusting because it's not
true.
who you really are.
It's true, and it's the same thing. People idolize celebrities until they know them. See, like actually, people had thoughts about Mulamwa where
why?
they thought he had a complete brain.
Today?
No, listen. People thought Mulamwa had a complete brain that worked.
Doesn't he?
No.
The problem is not him.
No, the
it's him about the women. I don't know.
No, listen. If every time you break up with a woman it's toxic, you're the problem.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? Like, he's never had a breakup where he didn't become a baby. And this is why I keep telling people, this is what you get when you get Kitale niggas Nairobi famous. Okay? They don't know how to handle
so
that.
Violent, Kamlesh.
No, it's true. Kitale niggas shouldn't be Nairobi famous.
Yeah.
It's true.
Ni kama kusema venye sema social wako na sijui Nakuru socialites.
Baki hapo.
Kakamega socialites.
Baki hapo.
Manongwe.
No, si Manongwe. Ni wa Kakamega.
they're sharp, they're smart.
Yeah.
That's why they're influencers of that particular county.
Listen.
Yeah.
When I say
Yeah,
about
like a lot of
Nairobi,
people who have come from like those places and they've made it even here in the city.
and that's what I'm saying, and that's where you notice, and I'm a fan of some of the people I'll mention.
Okay.
So, I'm not a fan of Mulamwa. Kuanzia.
I'm not.
Okay, but he has the emotional maturity of a 3-year-old. Actually, no, a 13-year-old. Adolescent, tantrum-filled boy that feels that the world owes him something. Okay? If you look at how this man handles himself, even his sort of comedy nowadays, it's almost exactly. Who's even looking at him?
Lakini watu wa Busia huko. Oh man.
And that's why I'm saying, stick over there. Because when you come to Nairobi and
here, right?
listen.
In Nairobi watu wa
No,
Kakamega na
let me
watu
finish.
Nairobi.
Let me finish.
Okay, let's see you cooking.
When you come to Nairobi, you're from somewhere up country. You've made like a name for yourself on TikTok, IG, wherever. You're looking to capitalize. We ain't hating. So, but understand Nairobi women roll differently.
Is it about the women?
We're talking about a dude, a particular dude, and his tendencies to tarnish women in the public intentionally. Like, why would you send somebody's nudes or post somebody's nudes just because they don't?
I was trying to avoid have that conversation
We
because
can't.
I thought it was so irrelevant.
It's not.
But
Listen,
it's
how
not.
many Mulamoas exist in this
But
city?
it's so irrelevant.
That wana msichana
It's not even on
mlikuwa
my tabs.
msichana mlikuwa mna date mnapendana akakutumianga zile vitu za view only once, lakini she trusts you. She doesn't view only once.
Right.
Now you break up, okay?
That's so
And
low, yeah.
and she
That's
and
not
you
right.
go ahead and post her stuff to the public. She's not a hoe. You just don't
Yeah.
have standards. She trusted you. She just trusted the wrong person.
Let me read you this quote, huh?
And then
This is a
you,
quote, eh?
you have this guy. Before you continue,
Before
sawa.
we shave in the quotes of the day.
Yeah,
Huh?
ni sawa. He's done this twice now. Tarnished a woman in public. So you look at and this guy is fine. Why? So this guy, every time he breaks up with a woman, he has to make it look like he was doing her a favor. Okay? Like, understand, this is the city. Over here, people break up and actually just continue with life. They even become friends, even business partners. There shouldn't be animosity just because we are not sexually mingling anymore.
Yeah,
You
I
get?
hear you on that.
And this is why I say you shouldn't have Kakamega people, Busia people getting
I don't
Nairobi
think this is
famous.
about
No,
county
listen.
dreaming.
Listen, angalia kila kitu yenye the pattern I'm talking about. Utapata ni vijana fulani wa Ocha walikuja the city wakaomoka, sawa, kina ringtone.
We'll get into that, Kamlesh.
No, but-
we'll get into
okay.
that. We'll get into that. It was not part of my conversation, but since you brought it up, I'll briefly enlighten it, or talk about it. But the quote I had for what you're saying, and you talking about Sujui exposure of nudes. Before we go back to the music, come back with the quote of the day. Ask you guys how week has been, because Kamlesh introduction nakwanga a whole 15-20 minutes
That's so true.
of the whole show. Let me see how
Isn't
many
it interesting though?
7 minutes in it, 8 minutes in it actually. But we're gonna go back to the music, come back with the quote of the day as usual, see how the week has been for everyone, and of course to you who's listening, let us know how your week has been. What are you up to during the weekend? If not, you can recap on Monday. But the quote of today, the quote of the day, not only the quote of the day, but the quote of what you're saying regarding sending nudes. And I feel like it's not even a matter of trusting someone. When you're doing something, you know, okay? You're an
course.
adult, you're not a child.
Of course.
Unafanya every decision you're making, you're not a fool.
But we'll
to
just- we'll
unless
just
you can't
send- we'll just send a
critically
stranger
think, you
nudes.
don't have common sense, like I was saying yesterday on my show. Those are the only people who cannot like. Well, you move too along with the wave. Sawa.
We'll just send
If
a
you can't, if
stranger
you don't have
nudes.
common sense, if you can't critically think, you move with the wave.
We'll just send a stranger
You're
nudes.
easily to manipulate and all that. But if I've done something knowingly, you could never come expose me. I know what I did, and I had fun. Okay, I had fun. I feel like actually the reason why I screenshotted this is because it applies to me so much. I have zero shame of everything I've done. Zero. Known the unknown, I have zero shame. Talk about it. Actually, sit on a podcast. Let's talk about it. What do you know? Let me tell you what you don't know.
Yeah.
You had only bits of it.
Let me give you the full story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's me.
The
Because I'm
tea
always
is-
ready to talk about my stories. What? You had what? Because everything, I think, mimi hakuna kitu nimeficha. Even the unknown is known. So, as we go back to the music, yeah. Then we come back with the quotes of the day. We started with some amazing jam. That was Mandy with Kamini. I don't know what you guys think about Mandy. I was to question that. I feel like she's fading. She's fading. When I mean fading in the music. Fading.
The music industry?
Yeah, she's fading. She's not simski sana venye tulikuwa namsikia at the beginning. So Kamini, she's coming back with the same flow, which I feel like if I listen to you guys, BHFM Tops 10, you're always discussing about how artists have or keep on coming back with same sound. So I feel like she's the same. You know, she's kinda trying to bring back the same flow that kinda made one of our top songs trend, or one of our top songs recognized, using a different flow which is so reggae or so Jamaican. So I don't know, I feel like she's fading.
Alrighty.
That's me. I don't know about you guys.
I like the
As we
sound.
go back to the music.
Me personally na feel ni kama tu kazi yake ijakuwa constant kama last year venye alikuwa anajituma sana. That's why hatusikii hivyo, because last year the reason as to why Mandy was really doing good is she was back and forth. Every week she was the Diana Chords wa saizi. Unaelewa, and that is what happens. Kila mtu anakuaga na hiyo season.
So do you feel like actually our medias promote music because it's a hit? It's a hit.
Yeah.
You only get the attention that moment because your song is hitting.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna get it for so long because the other people popping and releasing
It's
it.
because
Other
of the
music.
hype.
It's so true, yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
do that.
Let's examine that. So does that mean that you don't play conscious music because it's not?
No, we play.
No, I'm not saying like we, like in regards to what media does.
Yeah, exactly. Media,
Right?
talk
Like-
media in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like because you find there are really good artists that create societally conscious music, that create really good music that will actually sound really well to the public and will be loved, but it gets a minimal airplay. But you find the same old artists, example, Godi Tena, washed up artist, right? But you find that his music is still getting airplay because akona kajina flani that he's done a few hits. And shout out to Tox, he was making fun of D&D by We Are Nubia, right? But that song is fire. Like that song is fire for
100%.
days. So, but society barely knows it.
True.
You get we have so many amazing, and this is where we go to what who are listed come underground artists. Like, are underground artists just the best, or are they the ones that didn't sell out? Amani, the ones that don't have payola? Because there's a repetitive pattern in the artists we get in the mainstream industry.
I could actually believe and call out first. I think some people who have a perspective or an influence on it, also the consumers, like the people who consume this music also.
Yeah.
You realize there's a pattern that Kenyans love, for example, right? And that is what they want to hear in the club where, and as somebody from maybe a business perspective, maybe you have a show, and somebody requests that shit, or you're playing as a DJ, right? Na hiyo ndo ngoma itaamsha watu. Unajua, for business purposes, because of the consumer and what they want and what they consume, the type of sound they like, you find yourself playing majorly those type of songs. But also when you look at maybe the media and radio, I feel that's why nowadays a lot of online media came through to actually save that. Because when you look at mainstream media, they had a repetitive culture when it comes to the music they play. And also apart from that, also I believe also different shows. Una get like if you look at maybe a radio, they have a gospel show. You see, so you can listen to that song there. They have a different show that's maybe a hip hop show. If you like hip hop, you listen to that over there. They have like different type of shows. So that also gets to get you to a place where you can go and listen. But also it depends with also the consumer and other medias and what they give. Some radio stations play just basic, you know, and they play because if you listen to them, utasema hii ngoma nimesikia kwa hii radio mara 20 leo. Repetitive.
I feel like that was what I was supposed to because I feel like radio stations have, mainstream media to be specific, have a tendency of repeating songs
show after show.
Yeah,
hata kwa hiyo show utaisikia mara
nyingi. Dropping that like a station like Kiss 100, you know, it's always like you'll hear like 20 times in an hour or probably on 2 hours, you know, like a song being repeated. So that's a tendency which is super wrong, because we even have this, like I liked yesterday's playlist on the BHFN countdown. I was even asking him back there, like, have you, when's the last time you had this song? And he couldn't even relate it. I'm like, this song is
you actually played a song I'd never heard
Imagine
before.
now, like this song is so old, and I've not added like on the mainstream medias, even on the Piki because Piki watches radio stations a lot, so it's easy for you to note like, hey, this is active. But we have a problem of always like wanting to go back to only how do I say? Wanna go back to not really common songs. Wanna go back to wanna bring back relevancy when it's only needed. That's how I can really say it. Like you'll play throwback because it's a throwback Thursday. Why if you what if you play a throwback on a Monday? There's someone who'd love to listen to that song. Because if you listen to most of the radio stations, like back then, personally growing up, you'll find someone requesting a song that has not been heard like in a while. That was the main reason actually of people like calling in on the radio. You want to listen to something you've not heard in a while, and you don't want to keep on playing it on your, you want to hear it from the radio. Maybe also you don't have access to the internet all the time, so you want to listen to the radio, so request it. So I wish we could literally normalize it, the mainstream media. Also for us, I think it's also, I do have a music show personally. I do play all genres. I go all the way on music. I do believe also I listen to you guys show in the morning, so you go all genres of music. There's hard, there's you'll find you come back with a different class, she's come back with a different class. So that should be actually a norm. Bring back the old, not just because it's a throwback, but because this music actually did, I don't know, did
bring an impact.
In people's lives. Because there's also something of just listening to an old music, and especially when it comes as a surprise, or like, hey, time for life, or like it just brings you some old memories.
Music is a footnote in time. Like music can always take you back to a memory that is like so old that you might have forgotten it,
like,
but just because you had a certain you hear the tune and you're like, that time,
and now you're feeling it brings back the exact feeling.
So it's a footnote, and that's why we should be very conscious of the music we make, because, and that's why we keep saying old school songs were good, because right now, and I'll go back to the same dude, this Godi Tenor dude, bana. What do you understand when you hear the term one time? What do you get? Like in two words, what do you understand nikisema one time?
The government. Of course, that's
right?
what we know.
Yeah, obvious.
Why would you take a term that is to us symbolic of freedom and Suskia? No, fine, that's your opinion. Let me air mine. Okay? Why would you take such a term and create ngoma flani ya one time na kunyanduana and shit? We are making checky. There are so many other phrases you could have used. This is misappropriation of something that actually means something to society. Isi mapanga leo.
And that problem I have with artists too. I have a
Watch
problem
it.
with artists always picking up words when it's a
Yeah.
trending
But also,
word
you guys also have to understand from an
and
artistic
creating something out of it which
perspective.
is so
From an
irrelevant
artistic
to the
perspective,
current
you should
situation.
respect society
It's
enough
sour, but you
to
have the
actually.
freedom to actually express yourself.
You
in
do.
this way. That is
Ati
now.
Jakarta,
But you have to
check.
check the society. Look at the
Look at the
audience.
temperature.
You,
Test the
exactly.
temperature
Look at the
of
temperature.
society.
Look at who are the audience you're targeting with one time. Nikienda kusikiza one time expect hapo una roast Ruto mbaya.
Mbaya. Like I'm not expecting
Yeah.
you're
'Cause
talking
what is the
about
one-time
hitting,
term?
hitting that
It's literally
whatever
Ruto
one
must
time.
go.
Yeah.
So what are you there talking about
But
sex?
people
Sex
have
is
also,
involved
people have also
where?
made fun of
I've
the
not heard
term,
the song.
guys.
No, at
People have also made
Jakarta.
fun of the, people have
Yes.
also made fun of the term, guys. You also have to understand from a perspective. I'm not even trying to say it is right or whatever. Naelewa your perspective is not supposed to use that. But when you look at one term, anything, if you go on TikTok and
One
look at
term.
the
Kila kitu one
comments,
term.
hata kitu yote tuota tuseme tu Ostar hiyo kitu ilikuwa all dem alikuwa wa
One
one term.
term.
Yeah, unajua it's a fun
Now.
term apart from even it being political.
Now,
Una get?
let me put
And
it
from
this
a,
way.
me and understanding from an artistic perspective, he has the freedom.
Sure.
And that is art.
And it's okay. He's done it. We also have the freedom to critique
I
what
agree.
he's done.
I agree.
So when as an artist you have a responsibility to society. Okay? It's an unwritten contract. Okay? Where you have to be, and this is where, whose show was it? It's either yours or yours, where Traore was delivering that speech about artists do not be shackled by consumerism. Okay? Paint without fear. So do not reflect. Your role as an artist is to be a mirror to society. To actually hold a mirror to society and tell society, look at yourself. Do you like what you see? If you don't, do something about it. That's why Kitambo, you'd hear artists like Bob Marley, like Idube, getting exiled because of their music, because their music
Bob-
sent a certain
You
message.
said Lucky
History
Dube,
makers.
kid,
Yes.
hear that,
And the
Lucky
world.
Dube.
Exactly.
And
Hello,
some,
kids.
some who have to do not make like purposeful music, they don't last.
Exactly.
Ever.
And as an artist, I feel like you should seek longevity.
Yeah, always.
In that, like the way right now we are going back to the old Kenyan 70s sound that has been revived. Shout out to Sauti Soul, shout out to Sarabi, you know, all these bands brought back the Kenyan sound, and you're now witnessing it evolving. We actually almost have a sound apart from the rap and whatever.
true.
We almost actually now have a Kenyan sound, almost. We just need to push it a bit more. We just need Nviri to just put out like some
Right.
a few more albums.
Yeah,
We
also.
just
Let me play you the
Yeah.
Kenyan pushy sound we're pushing, alright? Just give me 4 minutes of your time. This is Stupid Boy featuring
wait,
Sons of
wait,
Lost
wait,
Boys. Alright? Okay, listen. The reason why I'm bringing this up is
Aye.
because Shati Iweton, she was talking about this on Friday, and we were talking about how personally my view was you need to be very considerable of people who have helped you in any single sort of way. Be appreciative. Life iko na mapanda shuka yake. Usiwai pull of someone who has ever fed you. Like, I'll help you in any sort of way. Be appreciative. Don't burn bridges. Some are worth burning, but see zote. Be very careful of what you're doing in life. It has consequences. But this is Stupid Boy. I had this song in the morning, and shout out to Obina, of course, who said he shot a video. I'm not sure if this is the video.
What was your
but-
opinion about the song before you played it?
Yeah,
So it was cringe.
I didn't like it.
It was cringe.
Whatever you're trying to say, we need to bring the Kenyan sound. And then, why am I bringing this in? Is because, again, coming in with the help, what I was talking about on Friday. It was not part of the topic, but because you mentioned the Kenyan sound, this was part of the key of the song I was to play, because I wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on that. I feel like it's just, you'll find people who can put you on,
Right.
to bring relevance to your audience, because
Right.
I feel like it takes time as a brand for you to get the niche of your audience. For me, I've already understood like my audience. I know what my
Okay.
audience wants,
Right.
which is very cautious. Kuna watu, it takes really, really a long time for them to get like, if I get to deliver this, people like it. If I get to deliver this,
Okay.
people don't like it.
Yeah.
You need to understand what's the
Your
volume,
tribe.
That is true, yeah.
And then master also the countries. That's something also you need to understand with when you're doing content,
Yeah.
whatever you're doing,
That's so true.
who are the people you're attracting, from which country, whatever. So what do you need to bring up to bring the relevance and all that. To people, I feel like alikuwa put on, maybe not the way he expected, maybe not as quick he expected the delivery, because people always have quick expectations, especially kama umekuwa kwa industry
Right.
for so long. Umekuwa kwa industry for so long, what on there's not utaniambia unaniput on 2 years sijaomoka kama wewe, mbona watu wa Australia wanatumia do, kina Shmani Kamlesh anatuma 1 million, which are false lies and talks. So mbona sijaomoka? Nona. So I forget the main reason, like we were discussing on Friday, the main reason of why, which we did discuss on the drugs, why people tend to get this help. We checked deeper on it, but there's also like appreciate. Before say hakuna mtu alikuwa hapo kusaidia. So I wanna play this very quickly. We have to use guys' thoughts. We still have a quote of the day. I've not forgotten about that. So to share, and then we get to a few conversations of the day. This is the name of the jam is Kawom. So I won't go deep on it. Let me know. Nikawam, Kachom, Namandom. What we're talking about environment. Environment will make you go back to the same old back tactics. Because ukiangalia di mali ameshutia video, kama in the video alishoot pia mimi Oga Obina, I have a problem because you need to have a change of scenarios, bring different things.
You doubt it. But I was about Kachum na Mandom. Lazima umeshtua kwa chuom jo.
Ndio nasema
like weirdly though, I actually like the song. It's
Kachom na
on
Mandom
brand.
shmani unaweza fanya
I feel like it's on brand. Listen. I feel like it's on brand, but the boy doesn't understand how to handle his platform. Okay?
That's finding the niche. Understanding
Actually,
what
he needs
understanding yourself too, because it takes understanding yourself too as a brand.
What I'm saying is he needs intensive media coaching. Okay, so in when celebrities become famous, or even footballers, let's just say celebrities, that entire crew, you'll be taught how to handle media. How to talk to the media, because you have to understand media is a double-edged sword. There is how you can associate with media to create positive energy for yourself, and how you
I didn't know that, but I think you foresee it.
Yes.
Because you look at how, just to interrupt you, look at how some celebrities will respond to situation, and the celebrities will are rational to situations.
Exactly.
Someone who's very official to a statement is someone who has been natured. What Kamlesh is trying to say, to how to respond to your audience, to the media, address an issue. You don't just come like what you saw yesterday, what you were just mentioning right now.
You see, that is an individual. Those are two individuals that don't understand the platforms they build. Okay, they don't even understand the influence they have on a younger generation, on the public generally. So what they need basically is to be taught about media ethics, number one, something so important. And you can actually go, because if you have a brand that big that you can actually have society talking about you just because you're fighting with your ex, you have a certain pull.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, now imagine if you knew how to wield this pull. You'd actually make a better brand of yourself. You get, And this is where media training comes in handy. How Stupid Boy handles the media screams of amateurish energy. Like he doesn't understand what he's doing. He's there to entertain, not
expect
to.
that. I was like, really?
Yeah,
Honestly?
because he was.
And also, I was asking, Shimon was telling me, like, he's on radio, he's on TV.
That's Mulamua.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why would he be out of all here? Because maybe someone would think it's cloud, but he has his platform and
It's
everywhere
exactly what
else.
Kamlesh is explaining. I really understand. I feel like I picked this from someone like people want to talk about her, throw shit on her name, but she's really doing amazing according to me. Aziad. Shout out to
I love
Aziad.
her.
I really, really, really admire Aziad's
Me too.
way of carrying herself. You know, she
I
carries
know.
herself in such a
Thank you.
mature way.
Dignified.
Dignity,
With elegance.
morals. She's funny.
Integrity.
You know, she's kind of funny. She still brings you that content. You know,
But also she's
not
so
funny like that. You
she's
know,
so
but if
smart.
kama unamwelewa, like in the way of presenting herself,
Yes.
she's gonna still maintain the brand.
Yeah.
You know,
Always.
this is Asia. This is
Always.
nothing past Asia. That's the
Yes.
brand. Most of the people, shout to people like Alma, a friend of mine. Okay, this might get me in trouble, but anyway,
It is what it is. If you didn't want us to talk about it, you shouldn't have put it on social media.
Shout to Alma. I feel like
Nini.
one thing exactly what he's talking about. Kuna ile kupata fame without knowing how to handle it, and not having the right team to help you how to handle it, and there's getting fame with the right team to help you how to handle it, or if you're mature enough also to know how to handle and deal with things, you'll handle it. Perfect example, not really with me but also with me, when I saw I was kind of headed to fame. One of the good examples was Twitter. You've seen my Twitter, right? Like there's some things I could post, Nico, like where people, the way they're attacking, you have to be careful, because the moment you're starting to bring a back and forth is unajaribia kama brand ibambi, by the way, set in a bamba. That's one thing I've learned now later, because it's not like I've not had back and forth with people on the social media, but avoid that. But it takes so much for you to learn to understand how to avoid that. So it's really nice if you have a coaching team, you know, people are gonna educate you, if possible also friends. If you can't have a manager, can't afford a manager at the beginning, or you know,
Just a team.
yeah, you need
A
people
team.
who are gonna
A
help
team
you,
actually
tell
really
you,
helps a
who
lot.
respond. Kuna yote munakwanga pia uko
Yes,
furious,
so
you're gonna get mad, you know.
Yeah.
You're like, how dare they? You're so eager to respond. You wanna tell them your perspective, but you're like, wanakwambia chill.
Let me kill
Sawa.
that notion.
Chill.
Let me kill that notion immediately, and it should never apply. Let me ask you a question. I don't know you, right? Alafu niende niandike pale kwa ukuta, sawa? Jobi ni Milayas, sawa? And no, we will never meet. See, listen, exactly, we will never meet. You've never seen me, but I wrote that.
Mimi ni usu.
I usu, si ndio?
I swear.
Now,
Hata kama nishaikuwa shida yako ni nini?
listen.
So kwa fanani.
That's how you should view social media. So
That's now me.
yeah,
'Cause,
social media.
bro.
Social media.
You don't know how many photos I have on. I think I've shown you guys how many photos I
know.
have on archives, and the comments are crazy. They're not. Some are nice. Some are not really nice.
Yeah, they went crazy on you on Twitter.
They went crazy.
Yeah,
on
even
Twitter.
Yeah.
Instagram. My Instagram PR,
Yeah.
on archives. I think I'm supposed to be having like over 500 photos on my Instagram, but I have all of them on archives. I have like 30 something photos on my Instagram.
You are going crazy.
because if I post my real me out there is. Now watu wanajua this sai watu wamenimit sai wako like Joby ni wewe. If just a few example is my stories that jana they're going crazy, people are going crazy, and they're like what? Calm
So
down.
as I finish on media, I'll get to that. That's a very interesting perspective. But as I finish on media, like you have to understand that social media is not real.
It's not.
It's an illusion.
That's true.
Okay, And you should always let the narrative
Run.
develop
Run.
without your input.
It actually really helps.
It
That is
works.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
It works, but Kamlesh, I want you to understand people
Listen,
get affected.
number
You
one,
can't
listen,
act
listen.
for too long.
That's true,
There's
though.
someone who knows you. Mulikosa mna kitambo sana. Hata nikusikuda. Me, it happened to me. Let me tell you, I was in Tanzania. I'm minding my fucking business on a live Instagram. Someone comes with a whole fucking narrative, which is so real. You can't escape it. You've seen it on your screen, and you're like, what the hell?
Nikwambie kitu.
Mbona sai?
Nikwambie
Mbona
kitu.
sai?
Nikwambie
Mbona
kitu.
kwa live sasa zenye watu ni wengi? Mbona sai?
Let me ask
I had to like
Let
take
me-
down
no,
my live, address
listen.
the whole issue
And
on my
this is
story.
where- this is where
Cause
no,
Imagine,
listen.
I feel like
Joby.
Because people started going nuts on my stories
Joby,
if you
listen,
the
on the
moment
live.
you
listen,
explain,
yeah,
you explain.
yeah, listen,
No, so
listen.
hakuna narrative yoyote.
Listen.
Whoever knows me, whoever
Social
knows
media,
It never continues.
I know.
social media, even your live has a block button.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one.
True.
Number two, okay, it's your choice. Listen, it's your choice
It's your choice.
to respond or not.
Mm-hmm.
When you're catcalled kwa street, do you respond to ama kuangalia kila moja mwenye anakwambia?
Nowadays, nah. I just
Exactly.
look at it like a
Now,
dumbass.
most of these comments are catcalls. They only become real once you engage.
True.
Okay, so I want people, especially all these celebrities and stuff, understand that social media is an illusion.
Should I play one video to make it relative?
Yeah,
Cued on the conversation of today. So we're talking about
It's a good joke, eh?
just to cue it and to interject on it.
Yeah.
We're talking about Nitanzola's reviews on politics, and I posted the video. You had your review, and people
Yeah.
kind of
Went off on me.
two people went crazy on the comments. They were like, "Who are you to give your
Kamlesh.
opinion about a woman having a review?"
Kamlesh.
But
Out of
Ntanzola,
society.
which I feel like also should come with being an influencer, what you're saying, you know, there's expectations of being an
Exactly.
influencer,
Responsibilities
which
to society.
we shouldn't have expectations, because this someone with their own brand. We're just knowing them because of their brand. The only delivery they should give is to the companies they are working with, to the people who are paying them. That is number one, which is the company they're collaborating with. And only delivering something that probably has been helpful to them to be helpful to you. I don't know. But at the same time, it shouldn't be an 100% you're depending their life on them as a person. It's like me depending my life on Kamlesh. Kila kitu Kamlesh. Leo Kamlesh haja post sijui nini sana. Why Kamlesh rada? You know, like what you're saying about the football, you know, page and all that. There's sometimes life happens. I could not maybe come stream live or give you the life update of today because I have a family issue. I have a personal issue. I'm a human being, you know. I get affected. Things happen.
Yes.
That is what exactly she's saying. So I feel like what it comes with influencers personally for me is if you put in any narrative outside there, explain it wider. Because the only thing she failed to do, explain why she wouldn't be on a front row or go for demonstration.
Well,
You know,
yes.
she didn't give a reason.
Yeah.
You know, which she comes explains later is because on the last demonstration someone died in front of her. I saw the video on TikTok today
So
in the
it's
morning.
trauma. You see,
It's
now
trauma.
we understand.
If
We
explain it deeper
understand
that way, we understand. As an influencer, whatever, because she says she's not an influencer. We shouldn't take her as an influencer.
No,
but
no,
she's
no,
also
that's a lie.
she's also putting, which I loved. She's also, which I've also I think spoken about my point about it. Tunakwanga watu wanakwanga na expectations. I've also had you say it. I've also had you say it. We have expectations about celebrities. Just because you put in chapter 1, chapter 2 of your life, I expect chapter 3.
Yeah.
Like who
Yes.
does?
People expect
Well, I also saw that because you put different chapters, we shouldn't give up. We should
Listen.
expect more.
Yeah,
But
that's what she
please,
said, but
Listen.
no.
I have shit going on too.
True.
Say it
You
like
know?
that.
It's
Then
my
post
life.
it.
Huh?
Post
Post what?
Listen.
What shit going in your life?
No, and this is what I'm saying. And this is where sometimes we go back to handling media.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll find that these people start posting their entire lives on social media, right? People are investing. people discuss you. That's how you make money.
I agree.
You get? So you've gotten society used to a certain perspective of you. You cannot perform a 360 and switch up your brand to I'm a private person now. Like if you're putting, and this is just my personal
View.
if you're putting your life out in public and your opinions and you're actively taking money, what is an influencer? An influencer is somebody that holds influence over society or a
Exactly.
group of people.
I agree.
So when she says I'm not an influencer, that's a lie. Okay? Because she gets a reaction out of society, one way or another. So and you have to realize, and this is where you gain respect or you lose respect as a brand. You have to understand when and when not to use situations to create viral content. You shouldn't come out when people are trying to actually get justice for a young man and speak out in a tone where you're discouraging people from showing up and showing their anger and their displeasure in something that they hold dear. When you say that you shouldn't fight government, blah, 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 it sounds like you're saying give up.
I get what you're saying.
I
Okay?
have a different perspective.
It's okay. You have a responsibility. You don't need to put out that video. Like, you don't really need to. You can have a different opinion to it, okay? But respect that a lot of people will see your video and might interpret it the wrong way and actually avoid a situation that will harm your brand. And this is where, again, we go back to media training. Like, now she has to come out and explain further because the statement she put out hurt her brand.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why she's come out and clarified it's trauma for me, which we understand. Okay, a lot of people experienced, and that's why on my show today I ended it by saying we have to heal as a nation, as young people, because we've experienced so much trauma in like the last 2 years. We literally turned baddies into freedom fighters last year. You get, and a lot of these people were not really built for Mandamano like you also, right? And such things take a toll on a person. So yeah, you can have trauma. We understand that, but we also expect you to respect that we are enraged enough to put our lives on the line and actually go voice our concerns over extrajudicial killings in the country that are affecting us.
Yeah.
And if you cannot aid our noble cause, kindly do not speak to its detriment. You get?
I definitely
That's
agree.
all I'm saying.
I definitely agree with everything that you said. What I have a problem with the fact that you said you have to post. I personally disagree with that. Even if you understand who your tribe is or who your listeners are, at a certain point, do you understand? You started this conversation by saying social media is an illusion, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So everything, and I definitely believe, unaona hata zile za toka sema eti umse ana post enough, like too much. That might not be too much for them. You know, somebody will be like, umse ana post hadi bedroom issues zake. Probably because alikuwa anataka mjue. There may be other things that they don't want you to know. So me, I can be like, okay, I'm gonna post my lifestyle. Yes, I'm just gonna post my books. But I let you into what I want you to. Exactly. So at the end of the day, I still believe if you are an influencer and you need to take a break, take a break. You don't need to post for everybody every day because people are invested. Because also these things get into your head. People lose their minds, mental health. People get bullied. Some people can't take it. It gets deep down to you. You need to take, if you feel like you don't need to post.
Sabbaticals are
don't.
important.
Exactly. You don't
Yeah,
need to
detox
post just
from
because
social media.
everywhere said don't post, saying you should post, why haven't we seen? Detox, you're allowed. If you want to turn it, it's your page. Personally, me, I don't have a problem. Akiamua they are change. Watu wangani wame change their personalities from the way baddest, now they have like this new personality.
So,
exactly, and it worked. So everything can be changed, Kamlesh. It just depends on who and what you
a type of content creator I love. I love comedians. Okay? Because comedians go through a lot. True.
Exactly, I agree.
But most of their pages, you'll just find skits. Okay? They keep it professional. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you can be an influencer. Okay? You can you can be going through the worst. You can come out to us and talk about it, like respectfully, like, yo, look, so I've been going through this and this, and I felt like I should be real and tell you, so that if you see me not posting, blah 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 blah. Because again, you have to take care of your brand. You can't just disappear, and that's how you make money. You have contractual obligations. Okay, so you come out and speak about it, and there is power in honesty, in expressing yourself honestly and respectfully. And I emphasize again, respectfully. Do not demean yourself just to get a rise out of people. Okay, like if you're going through depression, don't come at us with nilitry kujinyonga first, so that, and then we later discover it was a lie.
Let me quickly play her video as you get relevance on it.
Picha kitu yako ya tabia mbaya, vitu za tabia mbaya zikai vizuri. Shit, stop. That's why it's called private parts.
Okay, not this one.
Like now you,
I think that's Mulamwa.
This one.
Only nani?
Gloria.
Not this one. This is not what I meant to
You see her type
share.
of content though.
Sometimes it's
No,
funny.
people are reacting on
Oh, it's
Mulamwa.
fun. Oh, don't you Mulamwa?
Yeah, of course, I'm going to
This is what I picture. Well,
Maybe Mulamwa
this is what I did.
is a disappointment.
Ah, man, it's crazy.
No, not crazy.
No,
a
it's
disap-
crazy things
Oh.
they're doing over there on social media.
It's just too much.
25,000 yangu.
Plays a video.
And I reverse.
Now,
But
leo nataka kujam, na mkitaka kukasirika mjam venye huwa mna jam. Kila mtu ako na platform yake hapa. Now, some of you are always waiting for something to attack watu hapa online ati ama influencers. I'm not an influencer. Mimi nimejenga hii platform yangu juu ya biashara. Mimi si influencer, so don't confuse the two. So, you people are also into this influencers business too much. You want them to work according to your expectations. Wafanya venye mnataka venye mnataka. Mtu kama Dr. Linda hakuwahi mention anywhere about matcha. The matcha thing was from another totally different lady, not even me. But I can see these dirty girls hapa ukinini kwa profile yako kasichana kachafu kana kuja kuandika vitu chafu kunihusu, anaandika vitu za ujinga. Mimi nikisema sitaki kwenda kwa streets nikufe, I have reasons, because from the previous maandamano someone was just killed a few meters away from me. I'm traumatized. I mean it. I can't go. There's a better way to catch a fish without going inside the lake or the ocean.
Buy it.
Because we're used to our plan. We need to keep the goal and change the plan. But you people are so mad. You are very, yani mmejam alafu mnataka mlazimisha kila mtu afanye kenye mnataka. No. Mtu akipost kitu amepost.
no, it's also the choice of what she used also. Hata kama alikuwa anatuambia you can change it. Right now she's trying to act like she's with the people. It's because of the backlash she faced before on the video
The
she
brand
made.
was hard.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, it's also the choice of words, Doria. Right now you una make sense. But how do you can't read the environment, you go like Jackie,
I wish you explained it this
exactly,
earlier.
unajua.
Yeah.
And she's actually explaining because of what people said. If
Yeah.
people hadn't said yangendelea tu kukua glory.
Because by the end of the day, even though she's not an influencer, people still listen to her.
No,
she's
she is an influencer. She just
No, I'm saying
People do
according
listen
to
to
yeah,
her.
according to her, even though
Yeah.
she's not an influencer, people still listen to her.
Yeah.
Yes.
she has followers.
Yeah.
She has influence.
So always you have to be super careful
You get
what
like
you're saying.
it's in the
in
word.
regards to everything.
People-
Whatever you're reacting to, like be really careful. Don't just say anything because you feel like okay, it's just gonna work for me. But people are actually listening to you. Young girls, young kids who are coming up. But people don't really think about that. Yeah.
This is a whole solidarity. Mnataka watu wafanye aje? Waanze kulia wakitukanana kwa pages zao venye nyinyi mnafanya. That is not way people handle matters. Alafu mnaanza kudrag ati influencers. No, they've posted, they've done the little they can. What else do you want them to do? Jesus Christ. Alafu, some of you are very hateful. You've been a hater Loki, and then you just wait that one little moment in.
Yeah, but that is in
So
Tanzania.
first of all, that is that is basically the wolf crying whatever. Like, so no, I posted and I have gotten backlash. Alafu sasa mmetumia video moja. Yeah, because it was dumb. It was
wrong timing.
It was wrong timing. It was unpatriotic. Like there is ethics, okay, and understanding that you're part of a society. And again, just saying you created this platform for your business, right? Who do you sell to?
And that's what we never
Society.
know.
Like
who's
the
listening.
Kiki.
No, listen.
Oh,
So,
Hi, like
watching
the
here.
Kiki. I'm a fan.
Never know.
Okay.
Kiki ni nini?
Huh?
Ni nini hiyo?
She's a lady.
Oh, ni ya
So-
Gloria.
Anauzanga products kwa like the Kiki.
Oh.
so you get like who does she sell her products to? Society.
Like the Kiki.
We shauri yako. Joby's a
like her
fan.
though. I like
Joby's
her.
a fan.
I
So,
like the girl.
but she sells to society. So you have to be conscious about what society is feeling and the societal temperatures and what society cares about, because it's the same society that you transact business with. So you coming to tell us at yo nini nini, but on that video I can agree with one thing she said when she said that
The trauma.
no, you everybody has some sort of trauma.
Yeah.
What did you just say? Yeah.
It's true.
In regards to life.
Everybody has some sort of trauma. Yeah. So yeah. She said that they now understand our tactics and we have
Yeah,
to change how we
true.
approach
That
it.
really makes
And
sense.
that
Yeah.
I felt like she
Right?
was onto something with that. And these are some of the things that should be given consideration. And this is where we come to the topic of actually having structured thoughts. Okay, don't just go onto social media the minute you have an idea.
Critical thinking.
Okay, sit, plan it out, come up
Right.
with something that actually serves you positively. If she had sat with this idea, she'd have figured out a way to tell us that she had trauma from the previous mandamanos, and unfortunately
It's the reason
she
why.
will not be
Yeah.
joining us. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would have been constructive, and she would have said, look, we can go to the streets or we can change tact on how we hold the government accountable, and try to come up with brainstorming ideas and whatever with her fans on how to help get justice for Ojwang. But she didn't do that. The first idea that she had that she thought would get a rise out of people, she went with, which in the long term turned out to be the wrong choice. So don't just go on social media and post whatever you think of on that time.
Yep.
Yeah, just sit on it a bit, refine it,
Mostly if
think
you have a lot
about
of
it.
people watching.
Yeah, if you have an audience,
See,
think
that's
about
something
stuff.
that's something I think I've been personally very conscious about, because try to I'd say Huda, which most of the people not agree to, but I remember she was giving a relevance of you being very cautious of what you post and the assumption of how many people are viewing, and in actual figure how the number big it is. She was showing a number of like, she said I think with 20 people. 20 people saw Kikidogo watching your story. Because 1, 2, 3, 20 people.
Yeah,
If you
think
can
about
remember
it.
like my 22nd, 2022 birthday. I don't even know how many people I had here, but 20 people not wamejaza hii
Right.
room yote
That's a fact.
and plus.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a lot of
A
people.
lot.
And then she was giving going all ahead like 20, 30, 50. So that's something I've been relevant to every time I see the viewership on my stories. I'm like,
Okay,
what?
yeah.
30 people, that's a lot of people. 100 people, there's
Right.
1,000 people,
I
bro.
know.
Like,
So-
what?
Kwanza siku hizi inaita
It's
professional
crazy.
board.
It's
now
so
becomes
crazy.
a problem. 'Cause
Yeah.
The professional board is just something else.
So, juzi napiga show, right? And mimi sijui kama Yola used to search numbers on your shows on TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok ni crazy.
So
Wanaingia hadi watu 51.
no, I heard about 80 something people when I was playing music, and I was like, whoa, how did all of y'all get here? Like, how did you how did you hear about like this life? Like, because again, now you almost have a responsibility to give them a good show, because now there's an audience, okay, and it's, you have to be very considerate when you have a group of people watching, because I want to go like they were there for like 10.
Sahii inapanda kwanza asubuhi, unapata watu wamejaa wengi. Ukifungua TV ya kwanza, you find a lot of people flocking once. I think wameacha kutush, because back then it was you'll find by the end of your show you have like 3,000 views in one show ya 2 hours, and then it got up to like what you saw. Uko like, how did this come? Because of the content.
Because I've also
right now,
noted on the videos engagement as well.
But
I've not been active on posting, but see the little bit of posting people are watching.
Wameacha kutusha dobani.
Yeah. But again, that's something we have to be very conscious about.
Just
And
to add on that a little bit, I feel like you should be very, to add on what you said, very conscious on what you post, because unajua hata saizi ukiangalia example, unaweza dhani kuna mtu akujui. Kuna mtu alikuwa pahali, namba yako itapatikana, if you can tell from the example of what is happening, even with this askari guy. Kuna tu ama the lawyer who represented, he's saying what on the call family yake, how are people getting your numbers? Mtu atatata picha yako yenye alipiga. Niliona dio askari kuna picha yake nani alipiga, naitwa aje this singer akiwa traffic police back then. Who mwenye anaimba na kinaskasa is light skin guy who changed from gospel. Masterpiece. I think, and that is like 2018. The guy was a traffic police. I think alikuwa amemshika, so he took like a selfie. Imagine he went ahead, picture 2018. I'm like, is this not the same guy? So people will always find you, regardless, even if it's just 2 people. Trust me, they will always find out. But
and then anything you put there on the internet, I feel like this is what I've said personally as we get closer to winding up. If the moment I'm gonna maybe become a parent, maybe maybe
that's growth.
Yeah.
It was from never to
maybe.
It's good to see.
That's growth.
That's the point of life.
You're thinking about it.
Maybe like
You're growing.
Yes.
You now feel more responsible.
I'll be like, when
you shall know. When you shall
hearing that
know.
from 3 people, that's crazy now. Like,
you're always high on never.
Maybe. So let me say maybe if ever gonna have kids. I didn't know if I can put the train of thought.
Social media
If I'm ever gonna have kids, personally, I want to. If my kids look at my past, like let's say today's episodes or previous episodes, I started my growth, everything, because again, the internet never forgets. And that's why I'm also heavy on. You can never shame me, because everything I did it for fun, and I had fun. No cap, man. I had fun. I want my children to look at everything and be like, I talk in a question, I want to be proud, personally. I want to be proud, stand to my ground and say, I did it. Yeah, are you proud of? Yeah, I'm very proud. I don't have any like regrets. You know, shout out to someone like Hannah Benta. I've been seeing people talking about her downfall. How this lady, just a certain lady TikToker who exposed herself for dating married men. She has a kid. Content just became irrelevant and all that. The same thing I'd say. The downfall of Mungai Eve. Sorry to say, but it's sort of the same thing.
Why are you
know?
sorry?
It's sorry to say because it's not something people expected to see. You know,
the reality is
that's
reality.
not what I expected to see personally from someone like Mungai Eve and everything. But not just her, but we have in the likes of so many other celebrities who come out to see what they talk about, to go like, wow, did you really have to say that out loud? You know. So personally, I say I'm proud of laying out my truth, my life, everything I've said. I'm not gonna have any regrets of saying it because I'm proud of putting every word outside. So it should apply to so many people, celebrities. If you're on a podcast, if you go for an interview, be careful of the words you put outside, because the internet never forgets. Kuna tu kitu yako itakuja circulate baadaye. Unaweza trend tu juu ya kitu petty you never expected to trend off. That's the crazy part. You'll trend because of something very petty that you never really expect to trend off. And then out of that trendy topic, people come back and relive or go back to your old photos. They dig who is this, and in the digging, that's when you find even older photos of you being generated. The people who have older photos of you when you're talking, when you're tunia, when you're gonna pick up picture now. The people, exactly, you know, because this is life. The people who, even if you don't have the memory of them,
they remember you.
Google keeps tabs. You know, things keep these things keep tabs of everything. So
this is Google Photos.
you know, enjoy. Be careful of everything you are doing. That would be actually my closing remark. Enjoy everything you're doing. Be careful. Be conscious. Be aware. That's the most important. Be aware, because there's nothing bad happening. It's like walking to a brothel. Shout out to another interview I was watching in Juicy. They lied to ladies. They were going for interviews, then they were told to sleep over. Common sense. So why do you sleep over for an interview? Why are you sleeping over for an interview? You know. So be aware, be conscious of everything you're doing. So in case everything comes, actually, Joby, are you at time? Is this you?
Right.
Like confidently, that's me.
That's me.
Yeah. So. That's my closing remark for the night. And see you guys tonight on the network for the movie.
A life lived unexamined is not a life worth living.
Be authentic and live your best life, as always. Thank you so much for having light.
Enjoy your social media as much as you can, but be cautious. Yeah, enjoy every bit of it. You can't shame the shameless.
That is so true.
You need to enjoy your social. That's why I love.
You understand what that term really means?
I know.
The shameless, yeah.
Can't shame the shameless.
It's heavy.
It's heavy, yes, it is.
Very
It's a
heavy.
platform. Use it
And
very well.
you said something earlier, by the way, but tutaongelea siku nyingine.
Yeah.
Like never change who you are to fit society. Disturb society, Joby.
Oh yeah, I said that
Like-
on my show. I think
Like
on my show.
like if old Twitter you is you. No, yeah. No, you may say hapa sahi,
Oh,
like
that was
how
what you said.
yeah, like if all Twitter you is you, society will adjust.
True. Facts.
Don't, the more you lose bits of you,
Your authenticity.
is the more you lose you.
Facts. Yeah.
Okay, and society is a beast, and it likes things it can feed on.
And control.
The minute you conform, you're not nutritious to society anymore, and society will discard you. Okay, so do not conform to what is. Be you, and be you proudly. Like,
Which is also
disturb.
a big problem. I was saying this, the version I had on my show was the problem of being yourself is you lose also a lot.
That's true.
You lose friends,
Short term.
you lose, it's short term
Yeah,
before you
short
get to
term
your
losses.
real tribe, but you lose what you thought was eternity, you know,
It's
friendship.
the fact. Yeah.
Bit more up to just having, I'd say, common sense. Let me just put it that way. Common sense in a way where you can question things. You're not a yes man. You know, you want to do things your own way. It's gonna make you lose a whole lot, because again, I was giving an example of someone like Keith, who's very can relate to this, and maybe Shmani slightly when she came. I had lots of friends like in 2022, like lots. This studio ungepata like tuko hivi. There's someone seated there, there's someone there, there's someone at my bed. That was my bedroom. Kuna watu kwa bedroom, like you couldn't find this place just empty, especially on a Friday. But the moment I decided, like I realized it's all about, number one, what I was given. Because at that time I was just like giving, you know,
you have to trim the
I didn't have
fat.
responsibilities as much as I do right now. Like, twende sherehe, to send her out, I'll spend 5k, I'll spend 10k, you know. So that kept people closer because I had something to give. The moment I
Beneficial.
said no, I don't want to give it anymore, and shout to a group of people who are educating like, hey, don't you realize people who are always around you is because of just 1, 2, 3 benefits? And I started minimizing it, and I started seeing the repercussions of it. Being honest, people like shout to Kalgo, you know, watu wengi wangeshinda hapa. And I don't see them anymore. These people don't even raise a phone calling because I have no alcohol to offer or food to give for free anymore. Because that's what I used to do. Feed people, drinks, mini. Well, cool on ukunywe. Let's have fun. That's what me.
Fun.
Yeah, let's have fun. Like, zero stress.
You see, the healthiest version
So
of anything
it comes to
is
that.
lean. Okay? The healthiest version of anything is lean.
Yep.
So, always, kuna mtu mwenye ana scream out for help like somebody with a lot of friends.
Thank you. Yes.
Never see them.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a
Somebody who
fact.
has a lot of friends is screaming out for help
It's
and
so
they don't
true.
even know it. And somebody who has a lot of friends has zero principles, has
It's a
zero
fact.
standards,
Yeah.
Zero
and
boundaries.
zero boundaries
I had
for
that.
themselves.
I had
Yeah.
zero boundaries. I was even on standards. I had standards.
So the
But I had
minute,
zero boundaries.
the minute you start
Like
creating,
anyone, you know, I had standards of but boundaries za sawa karibuni, you know. Wakuja na standards zako lakini hizi zangu. No,
And
no.
the fact that you're talking about it right now, you're someone who actually questions things. That's a good thing.
I do,
Yeah.
because at some point, I'm not gonna lie, as I never thought I'd say this out loud, but it does hit me sometimes. I'm like, I feel like if there's a year I really wasted so much, personally, is 2022, because 2022, I'd say partly 2023. My finances, as much as they were not really as big they are right now, I would have done better. No, that's one thing I really think about. I'm like, I'd have done better, but at the same time, I live with zero regrets. That's
Maybe
just
our
me.
walikuja kwa maisha
Yeah, I
yako
feel like
ndio
that was
create
just
your
a
boundary.
lesson. Yeah, that was just a lesson for me to understand. Number one, I was young,
the
I
only
was
else
wilding
I
as
take
well.
a
I was
lesson.
just living life because I was living. It's not like I was just like spending because I was like I was living myself.
Yeah.
Because ungenipata hapa Friday.
Right.
We're thinking about being outside right now. It's in the 5 CG. We already calculated the club we're going to.
Right.
After the club, we're going to another one. Like
Right.
it's growth. It comes
It
with growth, I
is,
guess. So
yeah.
Anyway, closing remarks,
really
you guys.
Our close, I think close.
Have a beautiful, fun, restful weekend.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, much love. Shout out to John Mosquito. Hope you're doing amazing. Jumbo to you too. Nice to see you. Thank you for tuning in. He says, Kamlesh, are you gonna allow Iwaton to interrupt you like that?
Nah,
I'm just talk like 40 minutes of this show.
what I say has
I
value,
know.
so I
You try not to
don't
even
need
share
to.
everything.
Right?
I don't need to shout, so I will wait for my turn. You know?
Period. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Stupid boy, I got a message.
Watch